right now, and it's gonna be Rogue versus Shaman. We have mxL piloting the Shaman, and then we have Fzmushko piloting the Rogue. So Feral Spirits in mxL's hand. Rockbiter is pretty decent to deal with some of the early stuff from Rogue, like the SI7s, the Farseers. mxL is fortunate enough to be on the coin, so he takes that advantage away from the Rogue player by going second. For Fzmushko, you can even hard mulligan for early answers like Deadly Poisons, backstab, stuff like that. Like, you just keep the Tomb Pillager so he has a 4-drop, and then mulligan maybe the Blood Mage, and keep the Eviscerate for, well, the Eviscerate needs to be comboed, but he decides to keep everything. Okay, so he's going for that early Blood Mage 2-drop, probably to cycle and dig deeper into his deck. But Coin Totem Golem is going to lead the charge. If Blood Mage does come down, the Earth Shock will answer it quite nicely, and be able to be a 1-mana spell to play into the Overload. This is a tough decision. Do you go for Lafalnos to cycle, or do you just dagger up and let this Totem Golem hit you for free, and with nothing to contest it? The only problem with playing Falnos as well is you don't have an activator for that Eviscerate. And a very simple turn for mxL. Just smoke him in the face. Zap comes off the top. A nice defensive play there from Fzmushko. He doesn't have much else going on, but Feral Spirits is going to come down from mxL and continue putting that pressure on. But now the Tomb Pillager can come out, and Fzmushko can start creating his own offense and dealing with what's on board. Eternal Sentinel off the top to unlock those mana crystals, and Totem Golem gonna follow off the back of it. He can't Doomhammer next turn. That is pretty important. And maybe mxL has just realised this, and he's not gonna bother going for the clear, just gonna push that damage. And there's a Faceless Manipulator, so this may be a version used in South Sea Deckhand instead of Leroy Jenkins.
Thank you.
The Tomb Pillager number 2 is going to come down, prep into a Eviscerate to deal with that Totem Golem, and just slow down the Shaman as much as possible. No Doomhammer this turn, but Abusive Sergeant
Get in there and fight, maggot.
can push some extra damage. I wouldn't mind a Lightning Bolt on the 5-2 to stop it being cleared out, clearing out extra minions, but mxL doesn't seem to agree. Just wants to keep pushing that face damage. So are we going to see some clever Van Cleef stuff going here? So Falnos, Cold Blood. Are we going to see a Cold Blood? No Cold Blood. Just going to clear up the Abusive. I would have liked to have seen something a little bit more aggressive coming from Fzmushko there. He's really far behind in the health game. He can have a lot of damage dealt to him.
The Brotherhood shall prevail.
But Earthshock deals with the Van Cleef fairly easily. But Doomhammer is just going to push damage here. I like this. Push that damage with Doomhammer. And let's see if Mushko has what he needs to stay in this game. Earthshock is going to neutralize the Science League and turn him back to that 2-2. Well, that's 6 damage to the face. It's not quite enough, though. And no way to cycle the Falnos either. So if the Van Cleef had stayed an 8-8, he still wouldn't have been dead. He needed something a little bit more. And that is going to be it. And the first game goes to mxL with a very quick series with that aggro Shaman. So 1-0 for mxL, the GosuCup regular. And the Shaman took advantage of the lack of healing Rogue has these days. They don't have access to that anti-heal bot anymore. Only generally run one Farseer, and sometimes they don't even run any at all. And that's why Pirate Warriors become quite popular to counter a lot of these rogues. Can deal a lot of damage that the rogue can't keep up with in the early game. And that is exactly what mxL did. So game number 2, the aggro Shaman is now gone. So I think mxL's changed his lineup just in fear that he's been watched on stream and players might know what he's playing. Especially if Mushko's been tuning in. And last time we saw Rogue, Reno Jackson Lock, and Control Paladin. So this time we've seen just the aggro Shaman. So maybe he's got a completely different lineup. Maybe play more aggressive stuff. Try and counter stuff like the Rogue. I mean, if you believe you're in Conquest, if you believe your opponent is playing one deck, you can create a lineup to target that deck specifically. So aggro Shaman would be pretty good to target Rogue. Pirate Warrior would be another one. So any kind of fast damaging decks that the Rogue can't keep up with. Things like Zoo can be kind of stopped by Rogue because of backstabs and stuff, synergize very well against Zoo minions. But the difference with Shaman is a lot of the minions have high health, Totem Golem, Tunnel Trunk, for example. So this could be the game plan. But everything I said means nothing because it looks like it's going to be the good old Control Paladin coming from mxL. But this time, Mushko is on the coin. So he does get the additional benefit of being able to combo a little bit easier.
Reporting for duty.
And the dagger is just going to deal up the 1-1. And there's the Equality Pyro ready for that concealed gadget turn. Or if the board gets too hairy for the Paladin. So Doomsay is being played just to slow down Mushko. He can't play that Tomb Pillager now. So puts the initiative back in favour of mxL. And next turn, I wouldn't mind a Kodo. Kodo doesn't have a lot of targets unless Humility comes down. But then again, you could just Hero Power and pass. He's just used the Deadly Poison. So just make attacking with his dagger a little awkward. Oh yeah, keep the Kodo. You got Humility in hand. So next turn, Humility Kodo is a combo that can be used. And Edric as well is another one.
So many options.
So now what does Fzmushko want to do? He can play as your Drake and draw a card. The dagger, the poison on the dagger made things a little awkward now because now the 1/1 sticks around and opens him up to equality. Could go for... Could use a backstab on it. But you want to use that in combination with the Gadget Hand. So I think Azure Drake's just the go-to play here.
So many options.
Thank you.
Oh, just going for the Pillager. And now Humility Kodo can handle this Pillager. The coin does get to go to Fzmushko, so he does have a lot of card draw coming up now with this Gadgetzan. Gadgetzan and the backstab is going to set up a clear on this Kodo with just the Deadly Poison, not including anything else he draws. May still draw a prep for that Fan of Knives. Two, 4, 6, 8. So can still prep Fan, but then he'll have to use another spell. Going for the Eviscerate instead. Okay. Does use the dagger to clear up that 1/1. So now Humility Kodo is an answer. I was going to say True Silver Champion would be a great pickup, but Humility does the job as well. Wouldn't have been able to play the Aldo Peacekeeper, and this Conceal right off the top. That is a little bit of a burn.
Thank you.
But SI7 will be able to clear up this Kodo in combination with that Deadly Poison.
Ah, this guy's toast. Follow the rule.
Aldo Peacekeeper gonna keep the Tomb Pillager in check. A very slow play from mxL. He doesn't feel too threatened at the moment. He is a few cards behind his opponent. Starts off with a Fan to cycle. SI7 is going to clear up
This guy's toast.
at 3-2, no problem at all. Could even push some damage with the Cold Bloods there, but it's going to hold on to them for that Leroy Jenkins. So now Pyro Equality clears up this board, gets to drop the Doomsayer right off the back, resetting the tempo of the game.
The end is coming. Reporting for
But mxL is running out of resources. So can go for Drake Sap here. Oh, and that will do it. Sorry, Shadow Strike with the additional buff from the Azure Drake. Clear out this Doomsayer without too much trouble. 2 Shadow Strikes being run instead. I only generally see 1, so it's interesting. Wonder what he cut.
reporting for duty.
Welcome to the Grand Tournament, champion.
Reporting for duty.
And the Silverhand Gang. Second Gadgetzan. 9 cards left in deck. So gonna dig deeper. Try and find that Leroy Jenkins. Ready to set up a lethal turn. Maybe even next turn or the following turn. And Conceal. So unless there is a miracle, I think Fzmushko is going to be able to win this game. Oh, you may as well play the Van Cleef. He's shown up to the party.
The Brotherhood shall prevail.
He is a 10-10. Edric the Pure is going to slow things down, but we're so close to being so close to Leroy. Actually, I don't know if Leroy will be enough. He's going to need maybe an Eviscerate as well.
For the ultimate test. Reporting for duty.
So that's 3 damage on board, 8 damage in hand. No Leroy off the top. So going to need to dig a little deeper.
So many wonderful poisons.
Picks up. Oh, so he picks up the Blood Fistal Toxin. Still can squeeze in a little bit more. And there's Leroy. So can clear Edric up with... Oh, I guess with the Gadget Sand. The spell power has a lot more relevance. Gonna be an 8-8 this time. Nah, I liked using the Gadget Sand there. Keep the spell power buff.
Your magic shall not save you. Reporting for duty. Let the pain speak to me.
So there's 4 damage left on board, but I think this is going to be it. So 14, 20. He's got 18 damage in hand. And that's going to be tied up. Miracle Rogue taking a wing over the Control Paladin.
I'm out of cards.
I'm running out of cards just before he finds it. And there we go. So tied 1-1. Both these players still fighting to stay in this tournament and take the grand finals. So Miracle Rogue is now out. Aggro Shaman is out for mxL. The first deck was Miracle Rogue for Fzmushko, so we haven't seen any of his other decks. I'm expecting Reno Jackson lock from mxL because he's used it quite a lot in this tournament, but it has let him down a few times, whereas the Paladin's been a little bit more consistent. But we'll have to see what Fzmushko goes for. So he is going for the Shaman, so playing pretty much the same lineup he played against Freaker. And mxL has switched out the Reno lock for a Tempo Warrior. And the Doomhammer is being kept by Fzmushko, and he picks up the second one in his first draw. So probably regretting not mulliganing that Doomhammer now.
It's getting hot in here.
So a strong, aggressive start from Fzmushko, but the first Ravaging Ghoul is going to ease up a little bit of pressure because now he can clear them. Lava Burst on the free. Depends how invested you are in these minions. That's the big question. If you Lava Burst the free, you're hoping that these minions will do more than 5 damage. But if you go for the Lava Burst this turn, you can unlock the crystals next turn. There's only overload of 2. And then you can play a Totem, and then you can set up Doomhammer for 5. But he just goes for the Sentinel. He just wants to push as much damage as possible. I don't know if Fierce Monkey's fine, but I think Frovin would have been nice here. I guess he just wants to protect this ghoul as much as possible. For now things are a bit awkward for Mushko because what does he play? If he plays Feral Spirits, he can't play Doomhammer next turn. He has 2 of them in hand. So he 100% wants to play a Doomhammer next turn. So you can clear the Fierce Monkey, play Feral Spirits, and the Ravaging Ghoul will take out 1 of them, so he's left with 1 spirit, and then next turn, he doesn't really have a... If he goes for Lava Burst, he can clear the 3-1 as well, and he keeps the 3-2 alive. So I think if I was going to go for anything, I'd go for the Lava Burst here. Mushko? Doesn't even totem.
Made to fit.
So a emote coming out from Mushko after not doing anything at all. Not sure if he was distracted or a little overwhelmed with what decision he has to make. But he does drop a Totem Golem before the rope burns out. And he was just about to slam the Feral Spirits as well. But this time he takes his time and the rope has been reset. So now Blood, Fiery War Axe, armor up. He's going to deal with his Totem Golem. And next turn Mushko is overloaded, can't play a single Doomhammer. And Mushko is experiencing problems with his connection. Goes to the Feral Spirit, overloads himself again outside of Doomhammer range.
My blade be thirsty.
Now the game is in mxL's hands. He's overloaded himself to defend against this warrior. And he hasn't got that Doomhammer rolling, and the armor is starting to add up. And this Frovin is becoming quite a threat. Rips Lava Burst off the top, so now he can develop the Doomhammer. But he's now staring down a 7-4 Frovin. So the question is, do you Lava Burst to Frovin and slow yourself down even more? Or do you Doomhammer and try and find a win in the next few turns? Because this Frovin has to be answered at this point. He can go Lava Burst into Sir Finley.
You win this one.
And there is a concede coming from Mushko. I'll just have a quick word with him. So he's just going to restart Hearthstone. He said he had a connection issue on that turn. And he's just jumped back in. So just waiting for him. So that's a 2-1 lead for mxL at this point. I'm pretty sure Mushko's not feeling too good about the connection error he had. But unfortunately, we aren't responsible for the internet connections of our players. That's beyond our control. That's beyond my control. So there's not a lot I can do, unfortunately. So now mxL is just left with his Control Paladin to win the series. Mushko still has the aggro shaman, and he has one final deck, which was Zulok in one of his previous games, so that's what I'm kind of predicting he's going to have for his final deck. But they're back into the game. Just a quick restart to try and fix the connection problems. But it isn't a warlock. I have been surprised it is a
My
mage.
hammer burns with
And it is a
holy
freeze
fire.
mage.
You asked for it.
So a full mulligan from mxL. And the Doomsayers are not going to have much impact in the early game. Sorry, I've done the scores the wrong way around there. Bear with me.
Reporting for duty.
Just going to be a few hero powers here and there, some card draw. But mxL does have plenty of healing in his deck. Forbidden Healing, the new Ragnaros. There are ways to burst heal back up. But the dangerous thing when playing against freeze mages and miracle rogues is the you're never really safe at certain health ranges, and being conscious enough to know that these health ranges are a danger and investing cards into protecting yourself when the threat can never be there. So it is a complicated match for the Paladin, and it is a tough one. So just 1-1's being played at this point. They do need to be answered. But they will chip away at this mage over time.
I hope you like my invention.
The Pain will be able to deal with one per turn. But if Justica comes down, there's going to be a lot of more of them to deal with. So could just play another hero power.
Reporting for duty.
Doesn't even need it clear the one. Really doesn't make much difference. It's probably going to trade anyway, but just clears it out just in case that novice engineer grows and becomes something unstoppable. So the ice block has been set up, so Mushko does have some protection. Kodo, very important card in dealing with those Doomsayers. Next turn is Forison turn for the mage, so could go for a Doomsayer to lock it out. Instead, makes up that True Silver Champion. Speak of the devil, there he is. And that's why I would have considered Doomsayer that turn, just to slow down Forison, but Mushko doesn't even go for it. He wants to hit some better things with the Forison effect. And yeah, he's probably going to start cycling out these Forgotten Torches soon so he can get the upgraded version in his deck and maybe hit them with Forison. Make a dude, ping, make a dude, ping. That is the exciting match we are witnessing right now. So Pyro comes down just as a body to start punching down that health total. But as you can see, mxL isn't really interested in committing too much to the board.
Welcome to the grand
And Jessica
tournament.
Trueheart, who I just mentioned a little while ago, she can be quite a problem for freeze mages because you get so much more additional value out of your hero power. I mean, they can just ping 1 for 1, You make a guy, they ping a guy. But when you start making two, it becomes a little frustrating. And we see a Doomsayer even being played at this point, just to kind of try and handle these 1/1s. But Kodo is the perfect answer. Doesn't use the hero power again, just in case space is needed. Flame Strike used on a bunch of 1/1s are just to kind of Kodo. That's two of the premium area of effect removals used by Mushko so far. He does have a Doomsayer and a Frost Nova left. Probably has a Blizzard or two. But so far they've just been used on tokens and stuff that mxL13 needed to play to empty his hand.
Reporting for duty.
There's a second torch. So now the hand is starting to fill up with a lot of damaging spells. This would be a perfect Forsen. But it looks like he's just going to go for the Pyroblast.
What to do?
I like it.
To do.
Just throw the Pyroblast at face. Take him down to 17. Next turn, drop Forsen, get that hand reduced, and maybe set up the kill turn. Fire Lord picked up. Kind of want the Light Lord instead at this point. So Fireball, Frostbolt isn't enough to kill you at this point. You could even use the True Silver to heal up. So I like Ragnaros coming down here instead of kind of going for a panic forbidden healing. There's no possible lethal for Mushko just yet. He does need Forsen to come down on the board. And Ragnaros is a pain to deal with for Freeze Mages because they have to throw a Fireball at it and a ping, but that doesn't kill it, so they usually have to invest Falnos as well. Ooh, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. I don't like that at all. I think that I was just talking about panic forbidden healing. That it was a panic forbidden healing. You could have just hero powered. The hit from the weapon was going to put you out of range anyway. So now you're in a situation where you want to be able, you know, to heal back up.
The end is coming!
So goes for the Doomsayer to have another target on the board. But Equality Consecrate is going to deal with this, no problem at all. Gets to push more damage to the face with that True Silver. And I think this is enough. Yep, this is more than enough. This is crazy amounts of damage. So, regardless of the connection issue, Mushko now ties up the game 2-2. And the Shaman is going to be replayed going up against the Paladin. So it's down to the wire, and that's kind of been the theme of a lot of these matches today. I mean, this tournament has run a lot longer than it usually does, but players are really getting these 3-2s out. There's not been a lot of sweeps. And this is it, the last game of the tournament. Who will win, the Shaman or the Paladin? So Doomhammer in the opening hand again, and this is the Pyro equality, so mxL does have an answer to an early bud. So Totem Golem going to come down.
Reporting for duty.
And just the token from mxL can push a little bit of damage with the Flame Tongue Totem. But this is a very fast list. But the one advantage mxL does have, he has the, well, two advantages. He has the Pyro equality to deal with the ball once it gets out of hand, and then he has the Acidic Swamp Ooze for the first Doomhammer. But as you can see, a lot of damage has already been pushed out, so he's probably gonna want a little bit of healing. 14 health already. So this is Pyro equality time. No doubt about it. But Doomhammer comes down next turn, and that pushes an extra 4 damage. It will be answered by the Ooze, but he is going to need some healing to back him up as well.
Options.
Yeah, you just clear the one shield. I'm not sure what he's doing here. Just push that 1 damage face. Pyro quality. Mushko must be feeling pretty good having that Doomhammer ready. He also has an Earth Shock to silence any potential taunts that come out. And there's the Rock Biter as well. So as far as Mushko can see, this is game over. He's got enough damage to finish him off. That Ooze is going to answer that Doomhammer, and if he picks up a Forbidden Healing as well, he'll be able to top himself back up. So not quite there yet, but it doesn't take much for a Shaman to push that much damage. So now he's wondering, does he play the Spirits? One of them dies to the Ooze, the other may stick around, but gives 2 card draws to the Paladin for the Acolyte. If he goes for the Knowledge, he could potentially set up a lethal next turn if he draws 2 of the right cards. There's 2 Rock Biters, so he's got 6. Just needs to find a little bit more. No Hunter Hero Power or Fire Blast. And goes for the Earth Shock on the Acolyte, so he just wants to restrict him from drawing as many cards as possible. But we're probably going to see Kane come down instead of Justica. I mean, Justica pushes more damage and makes the hero power better, but you've got plays going up for the next few turns, so Kane is just the stickier minion for the board.
The Earth Mother is near.
So now Feral Spirits does come down with the Argent Squire. And Coin Tyrion is going to create the defenses that mxL needs. And the Earth Shock was used earlier on an Acolyte of Pain. Abusive Sergeant off the top is not what he needs. The armor ups are going to happen. Surprised he didn't pop the Divine Shield with the 1/1 there, because the Acolyte's just going to clear it out. And there's the healing, so that will potentially lock out the game unless Mushko has a Hex, and he doesn't. He concedes on 30 health And mxL is our GosuCup 7 champion. And one of the locals as well, so I'm happy to see mxL, after all his hard work, he gets those HCT points that he deserves.